Hello again. So I know I said in my last video I was only going to make that one. But I've been reading up on the racist tree people, and for those of you that followed the Trayvon Martin case, you know who the racist tree people are. For those of you who don't, you'll have to search them out, but trust me, they're there. And I'm bringing this up because the new audio came out with the gunshots in the background with the guy talking on a Skype video to somebody. We don't know who the somebody is, and I'll get to that in a minute. But before I start, I just want to play that audio real quick, so that way everybody knows what I'm talking about. And I don't want you to listen to the gunshots necessarily, because that's not what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the guy who's making the video.
You are pretty. You're so fine. Just going over some of your videos. How could I forget?
Okay, so that's the new audio. You hear the guy saying, "You were so fine, you were so pretty, just going over some of your videos. How could I forget?" So, for those of you who read the racist treehouse just for the fun of it, then you know that what they're saying now is the guy making that video was making porn. So, if you listen to that audio again, where is that porn? He's just saying, "You are so fine. I mean, just watching some of your videos." Videos, that's how he says it. So anyways, they're saying that he was making porn. Or, if he wasn't making porn, the reason why we don't know who he is because he was talking to somebody underage, and he's a pedophile. Or, he's talking to another man, so he doesn't want people to know that he's gay. Or, he was talking to an underage boy, and he's a pedophile. Again, just with a boy this time. So, that's the rationale behind why we don't know who this person is. Because he's a creepy pedophile making porn. That's the only way they can wrap their mind around the fact that somebody might be having a Skype conversation with somebody who says, "You're so fine." When you tell somebody you're so fine, you're automatically watching porn or making porn, or you're being a creepy pedophile. So just remember that next time anybody ever tells you you're fine, or you want to tell somebody they're fine, you're a creepy pedophile. Or you're fixing to make porn. The other thing I want to bring up is somebody mentioned in one of my comments on the other video that, you know, everybody's saying that he wasn't shot in the back because there's not a bullet hole in his back. But there is the bullet holes in his arms. Now, if somebody's shooting a gun at you, and we know that there's 10 shots or 11 shots, depending on who you believe, because it's been reported both ways. And when you count them, I count 10, but other people have counted 11. Whatever, that's kind of irrelevant. We know he was hit at least 6 times. So we know that if you say there's 10 shots, 4 of those shots missed. So you have an officer out there who can't hit a very large Mike Brown 4 times at least. He missed. So where those bullets went, I don't know. And why nobody's concerned that he was in a very crowded neighborhood and missed 4 times. Those bullets could have hit anybody. But the point of it is, he missed 4 times. So if you're running away from a cop who was shot 4 times and missed, and you put your arms up because you've heard bullets. He's shooting. Motherfucker's shooting. The fronts of your arms are now facing the officer. Even though you're facing the opposite way as him, the fronts of your arms are facing him when you push your arms up. So those bullets could have very well come from the back. And the first one may have hit. Then he turns around, hands still up, gets shot 3 more times. Goes like Mike Brady says, and he's clutching himself and bending over. And then Officer murdering Darren Wilson just keeps firing 4 more times. 2 of which hit him right in the fucking head. Makes perfect sense to me. Shot with your hands up like this, you turn around and say, "Dude, quit shooting! Fuck, my hands are up!" And he just keeps shooting. So I just wanted to bring that up because it is very possible that he was shot from behind with his hands up, and he was shot in the arm, and then turned around. That makes perfect logical sense. I don't understand why the racist tree people, and everyone else out there who's supporting this fucking officer, don't understand that. When their child gets hit 10 times by a rogue cop, who is afraid of the suspect that he's trying to arrest, so afraid that he has to shoot him 10 times, I hope they remember that. But they won't, because of course, their little angels never do anything wrong, ever. And they're also still taking the word of Josie. You know, the woman who's been proven to be a fake. The woman who read the account from word for word, basically, off a fake Darren Wilson webpage from Facebook. That's been proven to be a fake Darren Wilson page that was not his, that somebody else wrote that up, and Josie basically read that word for word. But yet, those people over at the racist treehouse, they're still taking that word for word. They're still saying he had a broken eye socket, his face was all wounded, he was beat the crap out of by Mike Brown, all this. None of that's come from the police. We haven't seen any pictures of this so-called swollen face. But yet to them, because it supports what they want to believe, they believe it. Nobody else anywhere supports that. Hasn't come from the police, we haven't seen any pictures, nothing. But this mysterious woman Josie read this Facebook page that was played by the news, and all of a sudden they take it for gospel. Because they don't want to believe in any way, shape, or form that this white man could possibly be guilty of doing anything. So that just goes to show their logic. Let's see. They're also trying to still say that Mike Brown reached into the cop car and was trying to get the officer's gun. Nobody said that, except for Josie. Josie said that he reached in and tried to get the gun, and it got turned towards his hip and blah, blah, blah. Who in their right mind, who in their wrong mind, reaches through the cop car window, not knowing which side the gun is on? Mike Brown didn't know if Murderer Wilson is right-handed or left-handed. He don't know which side his gun's going to be on. But yet he supposedly reached in the cop car and was going for his gun for no reason whatsoever. When all the witnesses that we've heard so far said that they've seen a tussle, and that's basically what everybody said is a tussle at the window. And Dorian Johnson at the beginning said that Officer Wilson reached out of the car and grabbed Mike Brown by the neck. Okay, if someone reaches out of a car, cop or not, and grabs you by the neck, your reaction isn't going to be to just stand there calmly. Your reaction is going to be to get his hand away from you and whatnot, and you're going to tussle with the motherfucker to try to get away. So, reaching for the gun, that is just bull fucking shit. Nobody in their right mind can believe that except for racist people who want to try to defend the cop in any way, shape, or form that they possibly can, no matter how ridiculous it might be. And like I said, they're still promoting that he had this big swollen face, but yet we see this officer walking around the scene, never once putting his hand up here, never once doing anything like that. No ambulance coming to treat him. None of his fellow officers are saying, "Damn, look at your fucking black eye, motherfucker. He beat the fuck out of you, didn't he?" Nothing like that. He's just walking around, looking over the dead body, looking around. Nothing. No indication that he has been hit in any way, shape, or form. And again, we haven't seen any medical records, any pictures, nothing. Now, you would think that if this man was really beaten that bad, the least they could have done to calm some, of the tension in Ferguson would be to release a picture of the man with this big swollen face. Again, I wouldn't believe it because, like I said, it was reported earlier that an assistant chief or something like that took him to the hospital. He didn't even go by ambulance. He was taken later on by the hospital. And I can bet on that trip from the police station to the hospital that they made a pit stop somewhere and somebody punched that motherfucker in the eye to make sure he had some sort of injury. Because we see him on the scene and he had no injury whatsoever. He was walking around there just like nothing, like he was just on some other street patrol. Not like he had just had the shit beat out of him. Because he didn't. That's part of another reason why they didn't file a fucking incident report. Because they knew that if they filed the real incident report, that they would have had to charge him with murder right then and there. But my point is, these racist tree people, because Josie said it, and because, the police chief said that he was beaten and all this stuff, that it's all of a sudden fact. It's not fact. There's been absolutely zero evidence that that man was hit in any way, shape, or form. But to them, it's gospel. Because it fits what they want to believe. Let's see. Now they're also saying, because they're collecting all the video that they can find of the aftermath. And they're saying that all the witnesses are standing around congregated together getting their story straight. All deciding to use the word tussle instead of fist fight or any other thing. But they're all standing around in a crowd. Ooh, you say this to the cops and I'll say this to the cops. And then we'll just make sure that it all matches. Delusional! If you watch The Real Housewives of New York, you know where that comes from. Anyways, so that's just another one of their delusions. They're also, they're talking about me in their comments again, and they're wondering if I've made more videos, so I guess I haven't gotten around to find my latest video yet, or I don't know if they'll get around to finding this one, but somebody did comment on there that they missed me, and they said, where's that kid that's making those videos about Trayvon Martin, where's he at? And somebody then in the comments referred to me by name, so they know who I am, obviously. But I think it's funny that Mike Brown is not a kid at 18 years old, and you're not even allowed to refer to him as a teenager on that website, because at 18, you're no longer a teenager to them. And mind you, he'd only been 18 for like 3 months or something. But, 18 is not a teenager to them. But me, who is in my 30s, I'm a kid. White skin makes you a child at any age. Black skin makes you an adult at any age. So, just know that for future reference as well. Let's see. And another thing I want to bring up, because this video isn't really about the whole Mike Brown case, it's about their reaction to the Mike Brown case. They all had a collective orgasm the other day when Rush Limbaugh supposedly mentioned them on his show, but he didn't mention the name of the blog. They all just think Rush was talking about them. They don't have any confirmation that he had ever read their website or nothing. If you go to the Rush Limbaugh blog where he breaks down little snippets of his show, he doesn't even mention them in the comments. He says, I don't remember what right-wing fucking crazy website I read this from, but I read blah, blah, blah. And they think automatically that that's them. So they've all patted themselves on their back, and they all came together, and they now had to go out and get new underwear together because they had just creamed in their pants. So Rush Limbaugh taking Viagra from, fucking little boys down in the damn Dominican Republic and then getting caught with this Viagra coming home. He supposedly mentioned them, not by name, but they're all, ooh, Rush, Rush. So I found that quite amusing. And you also have to wonder this. These people have followed this blog for the past couple of years at least, through the Trayvon Martin case. Nobody knows who runs this blog. All they know is some motherfucker called Sundance. So their Mrs. Sundance is their fucking hero, but nobody even knows who it is. So if you're afraid to even tell people what your fucking name is, don't you think that person might have an agenda, or that person may have something they want to hide, when they're too afraid to reveal even what their name is? And they, are trying to interject themselves into these national media, Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown cases, in every, way they possibly can. They're emailing Mark O'Mara. Now they're on the big bandwagon of emailing Megyn Kelly from Fox News and all this. But yet, nobody knows who even runs this website. It could be fucking Trayvon Martin's dad for all they know. Hell, they don't know. But to them, that's fine. He doesn't have to reveal himself. He's the god, he's, all of this. But I'd be pretty suspect if I was blindly following this blog that I had no idea who's even fucking running it. But they're not. So I have to wonder what his real agenda really is and who he really is. Other than a racist, we know that. And now, if you go over and read their website, they're all experts on Missouri law. They know the statutes. They know this and that. They know that Darren Wilson had the right to shoot this motherfucker in the back 75 times if he wanted to, and nothing will ever happen to him. So I love that anytime a case comes up, they're experts in Florida law, they're experts in Missouri law, they're experts in Arizona law. No matter where the case is, these people pull up a statute on the internet thanking their lawyers, and they'll give their expert opinion on it and blah, blah, blah. So I just find that extremely hilarious that these people just think that they're the biggest experts on law, and not a goddamn one of them fucking has a law degree. Most of them probably didn't even get out of high school. If you read the comments, they can't fucking spell worth shit. But that's neither here nor there. Because I know spelling isn't the, but we do have spell check people. That red squiggly line when you type shit that's under your words, that means you misspelled it. Just right click on it, it'll give you the correct spelling. You have to fucking basically spell something so fucking wrong that spell check can't figure out what you're trying to say, to where if you spell it that wrong, you shouldn't be using that word because you don't know what it means. But not them. And this is the last point I want to bring up, because they all keep saying Mike Brown, he strong-armed that store and he robbed those people and his big fat belly, he was intimidating and blah blah blah. Just keep this in mind for all you racists that are going to end up watching this and are going to end up in the comments down there calling me whatever you want to call me. Just remember this. We don't charge dead people in this country. Mike Brown will always, always, always be innocent of that crime. Darren Wilson made him always innocent of that crime when he decided to put 6 bullets in his body, 2 in his head. killing him. Because we don't charge dead people. And no matter what you see on that video, if you ask a real lawyer, that video is not enough to convict him. Ask him. You don't have to take my word for it. I'm not a lawyer. I just play one on the internet. So ask a real lawyer. That video alone would not have been enough to convict Mike Brown. And Darren Wilson took the right of a judge or jury to convict Mike Brown of that crime and sentence him to prison if they did find him guilty when he put those bullets in his head. So as much as they want to say that Mike Brown was this big thug and this criminal, blah, 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 he will always be innocent of that crime. Whether they like it or not, Mike Brown is innocent. The only one who played judge, jury, and executioner that day was Darren Wilson. That's why Darren Wilson has a grand jury impaneled to decide whether he deserves to go to trial for the crimes that he may or may not have committed, not Mike Brown. So keep that in mind. Mike Brown will always be innocent, whether you like it or not. Racist fucking idiots. And I'm not going to give out the name of the website that I'm referring to. Those of you who followed the Trayvon Martin case, you know exactly what website I'm talking about. Those of you who don't, based on some of the stuff I said in this video, it wouldn't be too hard to Google it and find it. But I'm not going to give these fucking racist assholes the satisfaction of promoting their website by name. So if you want to find it and go over there and try to engage them in conversation, which you won't because they'll delete your comments or put them into spam. But if you want to go over there and read just what I'm talking about, feel free because there are thousands of comments about this and you will see just exactly how racist they are. The only limit over there is you're not allowed to say the word nigger. At least not publicly. I'm sure they say it back and forth in email, but on their comment board, they won't let you say that. Other than that, everything else will fly. You can call them monkeys, you can call them safari rule, anything you want. It's racist as all racist gets out. And that's the whole point of this video, really, is to just point out that this is about race. They want to say it's not about race. They want to say that, you know, it's just about a cop defending himself and the kid happened to be black. No, this is about race. If it wasn't about race, they would be talking about the black cop, I believe it was in Utah, or someplace out there, that shot a white unarmed kid not too long ago. But yet you don't see them doing all this investigative reporting on him and trying to dig up what kind of dirt they can on that cop, you know, and all of that. Because this one, they have to defend the white man who killed the black kid. And for them, it is all about race. They are racist to the fucking core. And if you see any of them outside of that webpage, I suggest you run as far as you can and block them immediately. Because they're not just racist, they're dangerous racist. Mark my words on it. I've been there, done that with each and every one of them. They just have all the information on me, so go ahead and use it however you want, because I don't have anything to hide. So, that's just my 2 cents on the racist tree people. If y'all want to go have a look at it, feel free. If you don't, believe me, you can take my word on it, because I don't have any agenda in this one, so... Anyways, that's it. Bye.